ask you to take your chairs, and we will remind you that we have lots of food. We've got stuff you don't have to cook when you go home because our great baristas have helped you out. We have Pat and Zool who have cooked dinner for you tonight with these wonderful sandwiches. So please take them home. Take home lots of the cookies and everything. When you leave, David Swanson will be outside with the new book that he and Medea Benjamin have written. So if you'd like to pick up a copy now, he can save it, he can sign it for you. Or be sure to remember that on Tuesday night at 6 o'clock at Busboys and Poets on 5th and K, 450 K Street, at 6, we'll be having a book event with Seven in her new book, and then the book that David and Medea have written. So we've got lots of good things that are coming up. And tomorrow at 1 p.m., we invite you to come to the White House, to Lafayette Square. Hot as can be. Does anybody know how hot it is outside right now? Let me just tell you, it's 97 degrees. 97 degrees, and there's not any problem with our climate at all. None at all. So it'll be going up to 110 before you get out of here. No, let's hope not. But tomorrow it will be hot, that's for sure. So be sure to bring a hat, be sure to bring lots of water. We'll have a rally from 1 to 3 in the afternoon, and lots of great speakers, and we'll try to get our stage somewhere near the trees so that we all won't expire. So we thank everyone who's been hanging in here for the last 6 hours or so, and 3 great panels, I think. Let's give a round of applause for all the panels. And a great keynote speaker that arrived from Germany with us. Yay. Thank you, Seven. Thank you. And her book, has your book come out in English yet? Okay, do we have copies? Do you know that they made it to Busboys and Poets, I hope? Yeah, we've been inquiring about it, so we hope your book is there also. Yeah. So the last part of our seminar today is an opportunity for you all to make your comments. And we know that we have in our audience some really, really great activists that have a lot of wisdom, a lot of experience. Before we get to that, I'll just mention I only have 3 T-shirts left for the children of Gaza, so I'm going to put them up here, and let's see. They're a little large. They are all 2Xs, and if you eat enough of our good food here, you will fit these things. So before we start our opportunity for everyone to have a chance, let's ask Ben Gossip to come back up and sing another great rousing song for us. Please, Ben.
Thank you, Ann. This will be my last song for the day. It's been so fun being with you all. Thank you so much. I want to say a quick word about Julian Assange and Phil Oakes. First of all, the song I'm about to do is called Love Me, I'm a Liberal. It was written in 1965 by Phil Oakes. And it was sung here in this town at a demonstration against the Vietnam War organized by the Students for a Democratic Society. So basically the song is my effort to keep the song, which was very controversial for its time, current for today. But I want to say a quick word about Julian Assange, who shows up in this version of the song. But before his name was in this song, back in 2017, he was still in the Ecuadorian embassy at the time. He tweeted this song out. And I was like, oh, people are watching my YouTube because Julian, thank you, Julian. I was like, whoa, cool. I was like, who knew? I was so excited. So, but then when he was put into Belmarsh prison, I was like, we'll put him into the song. And I haven't totally figured out how to rework the thing now that he's free. So let's celebrate, yes. And also the lyric sheets are going around. The lyrics to this one aren't in there, but please bring those lyric sheets with you to the demonstration tomorrow. Some of the songs on the lyric sheets are going to be led by the Black Workers Center Chorus tomorrow when we're all together. All very good sing-alongs. So this is, thank you so much. I mourned the Tiananmen martyrs, whose protests were brutally quelled. And I cheered when Mandela walked freely after so many years in a cell. But Mr. Assange still belongs in prison. Those secrets were not his to tell. So love me, love me, love me, I'm a liberal. I attend diversity trainings, and I leave feeling so reassured. I love Oprah and Magic and Foreman. It's great seeing blacks become entrepreneurs. But don't go and join a new party. That's not the way to be heard. So love me, love me, love me, I'm a liberal. I cheered when Obama was chosen, my faith in the system restored. And I'll never forgive Ralph Nader for the election he stole from Al Gore. And my neighborhood welcomes all races of people with high credit scores. So love me, love me, love me, I'm a liberal. Voters need more education to achieve democracy's aims. Our enemies spread memes in their news feeds, sowing division and national shame. But if you want socialized health care, you really must be insane. So love me, love me, love me, I'm a liberal. I listen to All Things Considered. I'd consider anyone's views. You know, I've read D'Angelo and Kendi, and I'm probably more woke than you. But when time came to take out Gaddafi, there was no one more red, white, and blue. So love me, love me, love me, I'm a liberal. I vote for the Democratic Party. They're strengthening NATO command. I support Bono's benefit concerts and buy everything endorsed by his brand. We're gonna make poverty history. I'm on Facebook taking a stand. So love me, love me, love me, I'm a liberal. Sure, once I was young and impulsive. I wore every conceivable pin. I fought for a socialist future, which I actually thought we might win. But I've grown older and wiser, and that's why I'm turning you in. So love me, love me, love me, I'm a liberal.
Wow, that's a good one to end on, isn't it? Thank you, Ben, for all of these excellent, wonderful songs all day. Thank you. There's something about a song and a poem that in such a short amount of time can put all of us that were on panels to shame. A song can do it in just such a short amount of time. So thank you so very much. And we look forward tomorrow for you and the Black
Workers Center Chorus.
the Black Workers Chorus. That's right. And Lucy was here a few minutes ago. She's a part of that. And Lucy Murphy, is she still here? I don't see her. But it's going to be a great group that'll be doing lots of songs with us for tomorrow. And we do have the song sheets are going along, and they're just good. They're good poems to read. Well, this last hour, we want to have the opportunity for you all to speak and let us hear what you're talking about. Reiner Braun is going to be our moderator, and let's turn it over to Reiner, and then we'll figure out how to organize people to be able to come speak.
Thank you, Anne, and thank you all. And Ben, again, great. It was great what you have done today, and we expect more and songs tomorrow. So we have now the chance for you to speak. The rules are very easy. Everyone has 2 minutes, and you see I have the clock next to me. I will be very strict in the 2 minutes so that many of you can speak. And please, when you want to speak, come to this microphone that everyone can see you. And when you want, we can develop a line there that you can start speaking. And who want to start? Please come. Yeah, I saw him. Tord, you are the first.
Yes, my name is Tor Nyland. I'm from Norway. I'm very inspired to be here today. I have few proposals. This speech this morning with a representative for German Parliament. That copy should be sent to all the Parliament in the NATO. All the Parliament. I will take it and send it to all the members of the Norwegian Parliament. That speech this morning. That's the first thing I will do. So I'm very inspired. We should do that, and you should do to your representative in USA to send that speech. But on my heart is, I have a good connection with Ukrainian people in Norway and Ukrainian people in Ukraine, and too with the Russian people in Russia. They said, when you go to Washington, please appeal to get peace in Ukraine. Now, more or less 1 million people have died there the last 2 years. And people don't concern too much about it. So please work about to get a peace agreement between Ukraine and Russia. That's my appeal. Because so many people are suffering, get disabled, and die of this. It's terrible. The Ukrainian refugees and the people in Russia too said it's a very terrible life. So that is my appeal to you. Work through our peace organization to get peace in Ukraine as soon as possible. Thank you.
And I would just like to mention that this is Tor Nederland. He is a biker for peace. He has been around the world on a bicycle for peace. He's been to North Korea. He's been to China. He's been to, you name the place. He was in Kazakhstan lately. He's been all over the world as a bicyclist for peace. So please come up and talk to this man. Yay. Do we want to line up people over on this side?
Tord, we will take the message you gave to us all around the world and take the message home. I think peace, negotiations, and ceasefire, not only in Ukraine, but also in Ukraine, is the most important step we have to work for. Thank you so much, and please.
Hi, my name is Sandy Boltsingas, and I'm with Move to Amend, which I'll explain in a minute, but I just want to thank the singer so well because I'm glad I'm so loved, because that describes me, or at least it did describe me a while ago. But that was definitely me. Anyway, I'm with Move to Amend, and if you're not familiar with it, if you're American, please grab one of my cards. We have an amendment that says corporations are not people and money is not speech. And right now, that amendment is actually in Congress right now, and 85 brave representatives have signed on to it, but they have to be brave because otherwise, or not dependent on corporate money and not afraid of corporate money spending against them. So we need signatures. We've got more than way over 500,000, but we need a lot more if we're going to make this an amendment. And the whole thing is corporations are people according to the Supreme Court, which we know how reliable they are. And because corporations do not have mouths, even though they're supposedly people, how do they express themselves? Through money. And I've been sitting there in the back there talking to all those people back there who, kindly listen to me. And I'm like, why do people go for this? Why do people spend all this money on bombs instead of healthcare and all these kind of things? People don't do this. We don't have people on the boards of the NATO or anything. We have these corporations, and we have generals, and we have, people interested in war. We've got to get regular people, and we can do that. I'm going to go around. I'll pass this card around. Come to me if you don't. We need signatures. We hardly send any emails, but we need the signatures. Thank you very much.
His or her name, because I think not everyone knows everyone. Please.
That, yes, I'm Ellen Bartfield with Veterans for Peace, Women's International League, lots of organizations, got a lot of hats on my head. What I want to talk to you right now about is that during one of the speakers in the last panel, I simply passed my roll of these stickers, U.S. militarism fuels climate crisis, around. I hope everybody got a string of them. Please take as many as you want. If there are any left, I'd like the roll back, but rather you all take them. Thank you.
Good afternoon. My name is Victor Ochoa. I'm from Oakland, California. And that's a zone of, what was he singing about? Like in many urban areas, people are homeless. We've seen the explosion of homelessness. And that's directly related to what we've been talking to here. So I would urge us all, there's elections happening all over the place. Demand from every candidate in every office, particularly Congress, what are you doing about it? What are you doing about homelessness? And challenge them, because this Congress, as we know, at the drop of a hat, they have $100 billion to send for military for Ukraine, military for Taiwan, and military for Israel. So if they can do $100 billion like that, well, why can't they do $100 billion for the homeless of America? Yeah. And we need to demand that that's what they spend our money on. So challenge them. They're up for election, challenge them wherever you are. Luckily, we have one who is in line with that. And my second point is bring awareness. I didn't hear about this latest defense bill, military bill, really, that included a provision and passed in the House for mandatory registration of the draft for all 18 to 26-year-olds. Everybody automatically registered. The House-dominated, Republican-dominated House put that in, and when it got to the Senate, those courageous Senate Democrats said, oh, well, we should include women too. That was their response. Instead of saying we shouldn't have it at all, which is what they should have said, they said, oh, no, we got to put women in that too. So we need to build awareness about that and oppose it. Thank you.
Hello, my name is Stéphane Jouteux. I come from France. I heard from the audience a few questions about the situation in Europe, and I would like to give a bit more insight about the situation in France. In France, we have a president called Emmanuel Macron since 2017. He is the first European leader to have proposed to send troops to Ukraine. He is this guy who has decided to increase the military budget by 40% while destroying education, hospitals, public services, while destroying social security, leading a far-right policy supporting the genocide in Palestine. And this guy has been defeated during the European elections that took place early of June. And he has been defeated also last week during the first round of the elections to the French Parliament. And on the other side, and that is a positive sign, I believe, despite 8 months of an outrageous campaign against LFI and Jean-Luc Mélenchon in France, During the elections that took place last Sunday, 19 of their candidates were elected during the first round, gaining more than 50% of the votes of the people. And that's a great history, and we are going to gain, again, a lot of new members of the parliaments tomorrow during the second round. Despite that, I would like to stress that we have also issues with politicians, including from the left side, including from the leaders of the unions that support sending arms to Ukraine, that support the war in Ukraine, and who do nothing to organize any mobilization and demonstration in the streets against the genocide. And just to finish, I would like to mention that in Italy, our colleagues from the Port Workers Union, the Dockers Union, have successfully managed to halt the weapon shipments to Israel and to many places around the world because they striked against the transit and manutention of weapons on the ports. And I believe that if many unions around the world using the solidarity do the same thing, we could halt the warmongers and fight successfully for peace.
Thank you. Pocky Whelan from the U.S. I have more of a thought that I'd just like to share and sometime think about your reflections on this. Where NATO was initially made up of all these dominant countries. And so, often we say, the United States is the richest country in the world. Well, it became the richest country in the world because of slavery. If there hadn't been all that free labor. And then when slavery didn't continue, we learned how to really steal all we could from Latin America, from the global south. And that's what our friends in Europe did too, huh? You went around to Africa and exploited it, colonized it, exploited it. And in both of these places, both Northern Europe and here in the US, the chickens are coming home to roost in the bodies of refugees and immigrants. So I encourage people from all of our countries to have a little humility and to understand that we don't have the answers, that the questions we've asked and the answers we've given have gotten us to this state of climate catastrophe and the brink of nuclear war. And so let's try a little humility and just keep in mind, it's always growth, growth, growth. And last year I had the experience of what that growth, growth, growth was, and it was called cancer. And that's what it is. Unbridled growth is simply cancer. So let's cut back on the growth and learn from our sisters, brothers, from our siblings in the global south who have a hell of a lot to teach us. Thanks.
That the first industrial revolution was only possible because we were stealing the silver and the gold from Latin America. Please.
Sam Husseini. I thought I'd just share a couple of observations. First off, the Phil Oates song, Love Me, I'm a Liberal, he changed his own words after a couple of years. The war in Vietnam is atrocious. I'm sorry to inflict my pseudo-singing on you. The war in Vietnam is atrocious. I wish to God the fighting was through. But when it comes to the arming of Israel, there's no one more red, white, and blue. So love me, love me, love me. I'm a liberal. So Ben is walking in Phil Oates' own footsteps by calling that out. And it's fascinating that Phil Oates was calling out progressive except on Palestine back in 1971. If I could, one or two constructive suggestions to the peace movement from my individual perch. Somebody asked earlier, I think Anne, about whistleblowers and Assange and how we can foster that. Folks in DC are in a very unique position to foster that. If you talk to whistleblowers from Ellsberg to Catherine Gunn, who came very close to stopping very underrated whistleblower. Ellsberg actually said that she was the most important whistleblower of all time for trying to get the information out before the invasion of Iraq. If you talk to them, they were very much affected by people in the peace movement, by something they read, somebody who confronted them, and so on. So I'm glad that the action tomorrow is happening, but it is in front of the White House, and it's on a weekend, as these things typically are. And they're a good galvanizing thing, but I think it would be tremendously powerful if there were regular protests, visuals, and so on in front of strategic, and I know that there are some, like the Catholic worker folks are in front of the Pentagon regularly. I go to the State Department, there's almost nobody in front of the State Department, although people are doing Blinken's house and Miller's house and so on, and that's great. You know, to confront those folks regularly. Last point, sorry. The existential threats are nuclear power, nuclear war, climate, but also biological war. And I think that there's been a real lapse in the left of addressing that, and that has allowed the issue of COVID origins to be co-opted by the right and weaponized against China. This is a major strategic mistake on in the part of the peace movement, and I hope it will be changed soon. Thank you.
Cole Harrison, Mass Peace Action. 12 years ago, the last time NATO came to the United States in Chicago, we mustered, as I remember, like 5,000 people in the streets to protest it. That was at the height of the Iraq War and the Afghanistan War. Afghanistan was a NATO war. There was anger at NATO. And the peace movement was there, and we could pull on the liberals. Today, we are a shadow of that. The Ukraine war has divided the peace movement. There are probably more people than us who think that we should support the Ukraine war, who are part of the peace movement or identify with that. We're not, and we haven't gotten past that. We have a resurgence in the peace movement over Gaza, which is great and incredibly important. We had a Peace in Ukraine coalition that was functioning for about a year. It has barely met since the Gaza war started. Everybody in that group, including me, have been working on Gaza most of the time since then. We have a problem. We've learned in this conference how NATO is going global, how the war makers are making their plans, whether it's in Africa, Asia, Latin America, and everywhere. But we're not able to respond to that in kind. So I think we really need to get a grip on this whole geopolitical crisis and the fact that the liberals are leading the struggle against it. Our split with the liberals is severe, and we have yet to come to terms with it, that they've been our social base, and they're against us on a lot of the stuff that's happening now. So we have a strategic problem. And I don't have the answers.
Well, I don't have any answers either, but my name is Timon Wallace. I'm with the Warheads to Windmills Coalition, and we're very proud to have most of the organizations in this room in our coalition: Code Pink, World Beyond War, Veterans for Peace, Peace Action, WILPF, the Women's International League for Peace and Freedom, and so on. And we're trying to go after the companies that are responsible for all the things we've been talking about, as well as for the fossil fuel companies with climate. But we're still plugging away in Congress. We have 2 days starting on Monday of meetings with members of Congress. You're all welcome to join us. It was in the program. You might have seen it. We're mostly talking to our friends. They're not very many. You know that. But we want them to speak out and say more and do more. And so we need to support them and encourage them and get them to do the right thing. So that's what we're doing on Monday and Tuesday. Thanks.
Okay, thank you. Ann Wilcox, I spoke a little earlier. I'm a lawyer with the National Lawyers Guild, and I'm also on the board of Maryland Peace Action, joining Cole and others who work with Peace Action. Our director, Kevin Martin, strolled through here a little earlier. But I wanted to give some specifics about the Assange Vigil that we did every month. It's at Merrick Garland's home, which is a matter of public record. It's just 2 blocks from the Bethesda Metro. So you go up on the Red Line, get out at Bethesda. It's at 5100 Moorland Lane, Moorland. But it's right by the Sidwell Friends Elementary School. So we put these big banners that say Merrick Garland, Free Assange on the schoolyard, and it's a great location. And his neighbors are used to seeing us there, and they see us. You know, he's come and gone to different meetings. His family members see us. So we're going to have that tomorrow at 4 after the rally, and we're also starting a regular vigil for Leonard Peltier, because we think, that's a U.S. political prisoner among many that really needs to be freed after all these years. He was just denied parole again. So we're going to do that on the first Sunday of the month, and that'll be from 3 to 4. And it just shows that I think the presence of activism and that sort of persistence showing up, that helped Assange in London and Australia and different places. In the absence of press attention, we have to generate our own press attention. And I also finally just want to mention that there are people at Anthony Blinken's house all the time, and when he comes back, they shovel red blood out in front of his limousine, and I hope it gets his attention. And they're at the Israeli embassy. Some of those people are here. So thank you very much for that presence. Thank you.
Hey everyone, Michael Marceau, Veterans for Peace, DC area. Welcome to my neighborhood. Sorry it's so hot this weekend. Couple of quick comments. Sam Husseini back here was talking about all the actions that take place on weekends in DC. There's so many targets. But I got involved with VFP about 20 years ago, and one of the folks that we did a lot of actions with was a young woman named Cindy Sheehan, whose son Casey died in Iraq. And she never got the answer to what the worthwhile cause was for her death. But one of the things that she used to say that has stuck with me, and this is my first comment, she said, every year we come to Washington, D.C. on a weekend, run around and yell at a bunch of empty buildings and wonder why nothing gets done. So I think Sam's point of doing actions during the week is perfect. Anyway, my second point, another former comment, a gentleman talked about bringing back the draft. And I would actually be in favor of that with a few extra provisions. Number 1, anyone over 18 must register, men, women, and everyone between and beyond those 2 genders. Number 2, the first group to go will be the sons and daughters, grandsons and granddaughters of anyone in government who keeps sending our troops overseas with no clear objectives and with no plan to end the wars. There will be no exceptions. The second group to go will include the sons and daughters, grandsons and granddaughters of anyone in private companies with government contracts. I'm talking to you, Lockheed Martin. I'm talking to you, Halliburton. I'm talking to you, General Dynamics, anyone else like that, as well as all the big banks who make profits from war. Again, there will be no exceptions. The third group to go will include the sons and daughters, grandsons and granddaughters of anyone in media who uses the government's talking points to cheerlead the illegal and unnecessary invasions of other countries without looking into the facts and dangers. Anyone, again, there will be no exception. Number 4, I got my draft notice on my 20th birthday in 1969. 8 months later, I was in Vietnam. 8 months after that, I was critically injured in Vietnam. I'm medically retired for serious injuries. So if you want to bring back the draft, there will be no exceptions. Thank you.
Hi, my name is David Garan. I'm from Akron, Ohio. And at first, I just want to thank all the people that came from out of the U.S. Just give them a round of applause for being here. So I'm going to be a little parochial here and speak about the presidential campaign. So we know that Trump is going to lead us to fascism, and then Biden's going to lead us to World War III. And people are finally talking about removing Biden from the ticket, which I've been talking about a couple months now, that we need to replace Biden. And the talk of people right now is saying that Kamala Harris should be the nominee, but that's the same mistake that was made by the Democrats back in 1968 when Lyndon Johnson refused to run, and they ended up putting Hubert Humphrey, and he got killed. Well, Bobby Kennedy got killed, but he lost the election, and the Democrats right now are thinking about making the same mistake. Therefore, I think we need to call on Bernie Sanders to run. And he says right now that he doesn't want to be president, but if people get out there and say, "Run, Bernie, run," he will run. And you need to call your Congress people, your senators, and tell them you're not going to vote for those Democrats unless they put Bernie in. And Barbara Lee is the vice president. Appreciate it. Make those calls, please. Thank you.
Hi, my name's Crystal Zevon, and I'm sorry? My name is Crystal Zevon. I'm on tiptoes, and I'm here from Vermont. I just wanted to share something with everyone who's here. Since November, I've been in pretty much daily contact with a family in Gaza. Yasser is 32 years old. He has 3 children under the age of 6. And I've had this sort of bird's eye view into what's going on from camp to camp, tent to tent, and what they can procure. He was missing for 5 days just recently, and I couldn't sleep, I was apoplectic. Finally, today, we received a message from him. We are fine. We have escaped certain death during the last displacement in eastern Khan Yunis. It was a mistake to be in eastern Khan Yunis from the beginning, but longing for home is the reason. We left our house without carrying anything. We didn't even get tents. We slept in the street. In the end, I was able to buy new tents for my family and extended family. Now we live daily suffering without water and walking long distances in order to buy food and what we need. But the good thing is that the place we are in is safe. We hope there will be a ceasefire soon. And we chat on 2 different chats, one with some other people, and I guess I can't find the other one, but there it is. He ended it by saying, "Death is now the most comfortable for me." And I just wanted to share it because I live with these every day by myself. I wake up in the morning and hear from him, and it's just one family. But keep Gaza in your heart. Thanks.
Sharing this with us, and I think we underline the need for ceasefire in Gaza as a very important, urgent step. Thanks, and now Anne, please.
Well, and thank you, Crystal. We know that you've been with that family for months and months and months, and I know many of you also have been helping families trying to survive in Gaza, trying to help them get out. If you want to do more work in the U.S. Congress, the evil, mean, terrible U.S. Congress, you can come to Congress on Monday, 10 o'clock, the Rayburn Cafeteria. All of you all who've done this before, raise your hands. There, there we go, you know it. And we'll also be joined on Monday at 10 o'clock weapons to windmills. Tim and the group that wants to do lobbying to get rid of nuclear weapons is also going to meet, so we'll have a good opportunity. Now, I want to invite anybody else that has something to say, but while anyone else wants to, I'd like to call up a person who has had a case that went to the Supreme Court on what our liberty should be. Mary Beth, will you come up here and tell us what happened to you? She talks a lot.
Thank you, Anne. It's very humbling to be with all of you, working for peace. And that's how I was raised. We're supposed to work for peace our whole lives. It's a way of life. When I was 11, we wore black armbands to mourn for the dead in the Birmingham bombing when 4 little girls were murdered by the white supremacists. And that was a call by James Baldwin and Bayard Rustin that we should wear black armbands like this. Now this one says Gaza. So we did that when I was 11 years old in 1963. And then in 1965, 2 years later, we wore black armbands again to mourn for the dead in Vietnam. And we were at that time we wore them to school. We were suspended from school for doing that. Yes, it was in Iowa, Des Moines, Iowa. And there were 5 of us suspended. And so the ACLU took the case to the Supreme Court. And they won! Yay! And we lost at every level before then, at the district and the appeals court, but we won. And the Supreme Court said that neither students or teachers leave their right to expression in schools when they enter the schoolhouse gate. Of course, many people do not respect that today, administrators, school boards, etc. But we're fighting back, and I'm so glad that students are speaking up. And I'm so glad that, Crystal, you spoke and talked about the family in Gaza. And we're all with our hearts for the people in Gaza. And Jen, with your hunger strike, nurses around the country and around the world. I'm a nurse. Are speaking up, and so thank you so much for being here, everyone, today, and thank you for everyone who organized this amazing, wonderful, educational, yes, upsetting, but that is going to lead us to action, and we have our community together. So thank you, everyone, for being with us today.
And one more person who was on an 11-day hunger strike for Gaza. Jen, please come on up and say something. Come on.
I don't have anything prepared, but yeah, I'm a healthcare worker. I'm a nurse practitioner in New York, and my name is Jennifer Koonings. I live in New York. I just came for the weekend to be with you all and learn. I've learned a lot, so thank you so much to all the presenters. But speaking about what's happening in Gaza, like as a healthcare worker, just seeing the utter devastation of the healthcare facilities over there, I've tried to use like whatever platform I have and whatever relationships and contacts I have to get more of the healthcare community to speak out against this, because I don't know how anyone who went into this profession is staying silent, because that's why we went into this profession, to help people, and seeing the conditions over there, seeing, children being treated on dirty floors and they don't have any anesthesia to give them when they're cutting their limbs off. It's horrific, and the silence from the medical community at large in the United States is it's unforgivable. So if you are a healthcare worker, or, I don't know, we need to be doing more. So thank you so much. And
did you go to Istanbul, and why did you do that?
Yeah. So I was lucky enough to get to know Anne and all the amazing women, and mostly women and men who are involved in Code Pink, and through that I was able to go to Istanbul and be part of the flotilla that did not sail, but hopefully we'll be going in a month or so. And I look forward to that day, because like all of us, we just want to run over there and do what we can. So hopefully, inshallah, Anne told us in like a month, so hopefully we'll get on that boat and break the siege. And
did you go to the West Bank?
I went to the West Bank after Istanbul. And, you know, I went broke for Gaza. I had to come back to New York and start working my big girl job again. But yeah, I mean, we do what we can. Yeah, so nice to meet you all. Thank you so much.
And introduce yourself and your family.
Okay. Hi, I'm Annabelle Wilson, here with my family. Some of my family. We've been protesting for Palestine and just all around for humanity. And this is a poem that I wrote that I recently read at Z&Z's poetry reading. And I wrote it like specifically, sort of specifically for Palestine, but like it goes for everything. It's called Things You Cannot Kill. You cannot kill a thought, simply set it to the side. You cannot kill a dream, only force it to reshape. You cannot kill a faith, even with your lording lies. You cannot kill a love, however harsh the hate. You cannot kill a hope, however, despite how slim it seems. You cannot kill a truth, it carries too much weight. You cannot kill a memory, since it will just recede. You cannot kill resistance, as it will only lead to more. You cannot kill a people, roots run deeper than you know. You cannot kill the Intifada, in liberation we are sure. You cannot kill a voice, as across the land it echoes. Barricades and bombing are the only thing you know. You think that all this killing can eradicate resistance. You are woefully unlearned. For you could bomb the world, turn it to ash, destroy us all, and still, there are some things you cannot kill.
Well, that's a pretty good way to end this on. And all the Wilson family stand up. They are the ones that are here with us all the time. And that's not all of them. There are two more young women that are with them generally in Congress, and we've got a young gentleman, a little brother that's with us. So they are relentless. They are with us all the time. Thank you all very much.
To finish this meeting, but it's my role to thank all the speakers in the last round. It was great to listen to you. It was emotional. It was very helpful for our future activities. And it shows again how important is our fight for diplomacy, for ceasefire and negotiations. Thank you all who have spoken. And let me, before I give the floor for the final words to the main organizers, let me thank, as a guest, and I think in the name of all foreign guests, let me thank the organizers of this event. It was great that you have done it. It was very important that we had these protest actions against the NATO summit. Thank you so much. And when I now will mention two names, I mention these two names in the name of all of you who helped to organize this event. Let me thank David Swanson and Anne Wright for their great, great work they have done. Let me thank you both for their great work they have done during the last week. And I know about what I'm speaking. I was visiting many of the Zoom calls. and I saw the two faces. And sometimes I saw that the two faces were tired. And I saw that the two faces were also sometimes angry, because again and again we were discussing the same things. But at the end, we were so successful, and this success is deeply connected to David Swanson and Anne Wright. Thank you so much, and all the others who helped to organize this event. The floor is to you now.
Thank you very much, Reiner, and thank you all. This would not have worked if you all hadn't been here. In fact, we were thinking last week we hadn't had all the reservations or the registrations, and it was like, oh my God, nobody's going to come, but you did. And it's been great. It's been wonderful to see everyone, and it's not over yet. We want to make sure that you all come tomorrow. It's going to be hot, but whatever you do to keep cool, come on, 1 o'clock at Lafayette Square. Then on Tuesday at 6 o'clock, come to Busboys and Poets for David, Medea, 7, for a wonderful book opportunity. And then we're going to be out in front of the Washington Convention Center every day at 10 o'clock and give those NATO nuts hell.
Yes, worth any number of Zoom calls to see you all here and to hear all of those remarks that we just heard. Absolutely wonderful. But let's do it tomorrow outside of this room. Let's do it in front of the goddamn White House, where Joe Biden says he's running the world off a cliff. Let's be there tomorrow, and we have a rally, speeches, music, fun and games, and ending wars from 1 o'clock to 3 o'clock, Lafayette Square Park, in the shade of the trees if there's any way possible, and we need y'all there. But our permit is at 10 in the morning. Anybody wants to show up anywhere between 10 a.m. and 1 o'clock and help set things up, you are more than welcome. In fact, if you want to stick around for a few minutes and help us with the trash and the recycling and the chairs, anybody raise your hand if you know how to move a chair. Okay, see Zul, raise your hand, Zul. Yeah. Come find Zul.
First, please pick up around you. So all the trash, all the recyclables go to the proper receptacles, and then like goes with like. So the gray chairs and the black chairs, they'll each stack 6 high. So you can bring them towards the front, and we'll have a couple of stackers.
Thank you, everybody. Thank you, Anne Wright.
Thanks. See you all tomorrow. Thank you.